up, gamers? I'm Jason, and today on Dice and Dragons, I'm going to be unboxing Cthulhu Death May Die, published by CMON Games in conjunction with Guillotine Games, designed by Rob Davio and Eric Lang. Now, this is a Kickstarter. As you can see, we've got the Kickstarter exclusive box. It's going to be a little bit of a long unboxing. That's why down below in the video description, you can find timestamps so you can check out the box that you want. If you're looking at buying Season 2, looking at getting the main game, we do have the smaller expansion as well that we unbox. Just don't have it up in front on camera. So everything you need, we're going to take a look at it. Now, what is Cthulhu Death May Die? Well, this game is divided up into different episodes. Each episode has its own storyline, mythos, discovery cards. The basic is the same though. You must disrupt the ritual in order to summon the Ancient One or the Elder One and make it mortal so that you are able to kill it, send it back where it came from, and save the world. Now, you will also have a selection of Elder Ones, different ones than all these boxes. You will pick your episode, pick your main villain, mix the boxes together, and you're going to get that unique story experience. Now, with that being said, let's go over to the top-down camera and take a look at what's inside. Now, let's take a look at what's in the box for Cthulhu Death May Die. Of course, we're starting with the core box for the game. Now, let's get in here. So as you can see, we've got the investigators and some shrink wrap packaging. That's going to be definitely a little bit of a pain to get open, but shouldn't be too bad. Let's slide the box over, give us some room to work with. Let's take a quick look at the rule book. So you got a nice description, table of contents. You can see all the investigators, the different episodes. Cthulhu and the Hastur box are two elder ones. And I do like the art and the layout in this. It does give a good flavor, and it does seem to be something that's a little more story-driven than your typical CMON games. Don't worry, we're going to get into the investigators. And then we've got what looks to be different track, place for your Elder One, Elder One's minions, the episode, and the monsters. We'll set that down here as well. Now let's just take a quick look at the investigators. Should be able to get this open. There's a nice little corner I can use. Fortunately, we had that corner which made it easier to get access to the investigators. So we do have instructions for all of them, their different abilities. We've got Adam, Rasputin. I do also like the quality of the boards. They're thick, fairly robust. Elizabeth, Fatima, Ahmed, Borden, Ian. I like how he's missing an arm. That's cool. The kid with some arcane powers. That's really cool. Morgan. I like this guy. I like sort of the whole Indiana Jones feel. And then Sister Beth. So there are all the characters that we get. Also, I did notice that there is a little bit of their backstory on the back. So you do get a nice bit of background for all of the different characters. Now we got the tokens all sealed up. Not sure, well, those of you that watched our unboxings know how I feel about this. I really think this is a waste of plastic. I don't think these need to be put in plastic wrap. Set that aside. Get rid of that. Oh. Well, I can say for sure that the tokens will come out fairly easily. So we look to have some rooms. These look to be different gates, health tokens, tunnels, maybe some passageways. So very cool. I do like the fact that some of them are non-traditional shapes, as we're seeing right here, which will definitely gives you a feel of going to a cave. Something that we don't see in other games like Descent and even things like Folklore that are always using really square tiles. I like that we've got these different skill tokens, and this looks to be like the symbol for the track that we saw earlier. Some more health tokens, more rooms. Looks like the lead investigator tile, some more abilities. And then here we've got, once again, some more rooms. Looks to be staircases to denote if, one thing is on a higher floor than another. Next, we've got, and these are going to be fairly challenging to get undone. I actually brought something downstairs to get access to this, but don't have it in front of me right now. I neglected to grab it. So I'm going to take a stab at getting in here, but this just really illustrates the complaints that I do have with CMON's packaging when it comes to their cards. This plastic is very difficult to get open. So let me try something, and hopefully it'll open up fairly easily. I found the seam. If I can pry that seam open, we'll be in good shape. But I'm trying not, you know what? I think I did it. The trick is to do that without scratching the card. I did scratch the card a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, actually, because it's probably going to be one of the first CMON games that I actually sleeve. But that is definitely annoying that, with regards to the packaging, plenty of my CMON games have a few little scratches. So here we've got Arkham Sanitarium, patient medical files. So these looks to be like the different types of insanities. Codependence, recurring trauma, fear of crowds, catatonia, things like that that can happen to our investigators. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to grab next. So we've got the Cthulhu box. And don't worry, we went all in. We haven't shown it yet. You'll see him in the outro. The big bad, Cthulhu himself. So we then have his Mythos cards. We also have his episode cards in some very awful packaging. We have some tokens for Cthulhu. And next we have what looks to be him. I actually do like that there's a spot for some other cards. So I'm sure as we unbox this, I'll be able to store some stuff. Even maybe the extra dice that we ended up getting for the game. So we've got our smaller version of Cthulhu. There is the big bad one. And this is definitely the same mold. The wings and stuff are just slightly different, but same base mold. Here we've got the Vile Star Spawn for Cthulhu. Definitely getting to know the Mythos. Now, seeing how difficult it was to get the Sanitarium cards undone, and the fact that I put just a little indent on them, something I'm not proud of, give me literally 10 seconds and I'm going to get the tool that I neglected to grab, but I just think it's key for whenever you're unboxing a CMON game. So one thing you may need is the box cutter, but that's not the tool that I'm talking about. The tool I'm talking about is a pair of tweezers. Just something to grab it. As you notice here, there's not even like any sort of place to grab any of the plastic. You need to really be careful as it's fairly easy to damage. But, when you're pushing up on the plastic, if you can grab it. I'm trying to push it up around the corner here. Doesn't seem to want to go. But overall, this is my biggest complaint about any CMON game, is that essentially, especially as someone that does unboxing videos, I almost need to pre-open these and spend minutes trying to get these things open. This is incredibly difficult, and I'm actually considering just moving on with the unboxing rather than going through the cards, as I don't necessarily want to damage them, because they really didn't leave me too much to work with. We've got a seam here, but even this is not all that easily. Oh, I'm getting it. I know this is very dull for our viewers, and I do apologize. Hopefully this will be something that CMON addresses, because as gamers, we love to keep our games in very pristine condition, and I do find that opening up anything CMON related can be very challenging. So we've got the episode card. So there's different stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, final stage. Then just the stats for the different monsters, cultists, and the star spawn. This actually looks to be like a spot for his counters. So as we're unboxing this, and it's fairly easy right now, like getting rid of stuff as soon as I can, we will get everything placed into the spot where it goes. We've got the episode cards. Now we're going to try to get these ones open, and this looks like we've got a little bit more of an edge to work with here to be able to pry it open. I mean, if anyone actually is watching this unboxing and has some better suggestions as to how to open up this type of packaging, I would love to hear it. I'm a little loath to use the box cutter because I'm a little afraid of damaging the cards, but got the Mythos cards, so different things like the Star Spawn, Ryla Unleashed, Astral Promise, Cthulhu Awakens. Well, that's just all sorts of bad news. We've got the box opened up. Let's put this. It fits a little awkwardly back in. I do like all this packaging though. I'm gonna probably open all this stuff up and definitely look at repackaging it. It's very nice, but not practical, especially when you have the expansions. And it looks like we've got the same situation with Haster. I do like the fact that there is a little spot for the minis. So, no, I said minis, I meant to say the tokens. I'll just move the box off camera. As you can see, we've got these King and Yellow tokens. Pretty cool. Definitely feels like you're looking at Haster. Look at the plastic right there. Nice spot to place all the tokens. That is the good thing about these boxes in the plastic. It does give you a nice place to store everything. So same thing with Haster. It's going to be fairly challenging to get this. Well, that was cheaper plastic. The thing just ripped. Well, that was very nice. Unlike what you saw with Cthulhu. So once again, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, the final stage. We've got the Haster Disciple and Cultist information here. So here are the minis for the Haster Cultists. Let's take a look at the King in Yellow himself. The terrifying mini, and I really like the look of it. Love the tentacles, everything's solid. Doesn't feel like it can break easily. But I'll definitely want to take a look at how I'm going to include some of those nice expansions that we have to get everything boxed up and stored nicely. So we've taken a look at those things. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got the different episodes, and there could be some spoilers in there. We'll take a quick peek at what's in the box for episode 1. Take a look at these minis next. I just want to get an idea. Fairly easy to damage the box. So that is definitely a negative in my opinion. So what we've got in the episode is Blasphemous Alchemy. We have monster cards. We've got some tokens specifically for there. And then we also have some cards specifically for episode 1. Now I do like the idea of the box. I'll definitely keep it. I might just try to figure out a way to make it a little easier. So that's one thing that it does look like some of this plastic, and it feels different than some of the other ones that I was opening. A little easier to pull and rip along the seam. So we've got the Feral Student, different items and things that are going to happen. So we're not going to take too much of a look at these episode boxes because that's definitely a good way to open it. Wasn't working with Cthulhu or some of the other stuff. So keep that in mind. So we got some information on these Mythos cards, bad stuff that'll happen. So you just get an idea of what you're getting in the episode box. So we're going to just put all this back in here. As someone that is a fan of their Zombicide games, I do like how this very much differs. As you can see with the seasons, you're going to get there's sort of 6 episode boxes. So we got episode 2, The Town of Madness, episode 3, Dance Macabre, episode 4, Eldritch Idols, episode 5, A Cursed Tide, and then lastly, episode 6, Unspeakable Hour. Don't forget there is a whole season 2 box that you can get as well. Now, we've got the miniatures here for some of the, I believe, probably villains from the specific episodes. We'll get that unboxed. We'll take a look at what we have here. This looks to be, the bigger ones. And I'm not good with the name of all the Cthulhu monsters. I'm just putting some of the stuff back away so we can keep some nice space. This looks to be like one of the ones rated to the dragon. This very disgusting worm creature. Absolutely terrifying. Solid sculpt. Everything feels great. We then have these 2 minis here. Another one of the, I think this is Nyarlathotep, or however you spell it, but however you say it, I could be wrong. And absolutely unsure what this one is. I do not recognize it from some of the other games set in the Cthulhu mythos. And we're getting through it all. We're coming to the end of what we've got here in this sleeve. I do like nice little packaging to keep everything together. Looks good. You know what I'm realizing here? I've got the Haster Disciple cards that I neglected to put back in the box. As you can see there, these ones aren't ripping as easily, but giving it a good pull is helping. Use the tweezers to trying to get this last little bit opened up. Sorry that I neglected to showcase this earlier. I'm not going to put them back in the box. We're going to keep moving on, but you can just see what we've got, the different mythos cards related to Haster's Disciples. So just place, you know what, easy enough to get it back in the box. We're going to slide it back in. Don't want it going anywhere. Now, tape is always a good thing for when it's shipping. Always a pain in the butt during unboxings. We've got, you guys can't see it as I'm playing with it a little bit off camera. I got a whole slew of stuff here. It's actually 3 trays. And in retrospect, I had everything falling all over the place. I don't like keeping the tape on these things. I should have been using the box cutters. So, but you got to see a little bit how much a pain in the butt the tape can be. So here we've got the different investigators. We'll take a quick look at all of their different miniatures. Very cool. Like how everything looks. So, just about done going through everything. This is the 3rd to last tray that we've got here. Not as detailed as their Zombicide minis, but still very well done. It also sort of suits the theme. I find not having the minis like super detailed. We're looking more, you know, like 1940s, 50s style clothing. We have also characters using less defined weapons, not as intricate as some of the broadswords and stuff that you've seen, especially in the newer versions of Zombicide. But you can see CMON level detail in terms of Fatima, and it's specifically on the minis that for the monsters. So we do have a set of dice. Now these are specific dice for the game. So we've got different symbols on them. You can see that a little bit about the green one. This unboxing's gone on, at least for this part, a little longer than I would have liked. So we're going to speed it up to get to the end and then move on, taking a look at Season 2. We've got the bases so people can players can tell their investigators apart. Next, we've got some of the other evil creatures from Cthulhu. I love just the way that the tail works into the base. This could be a Scythonian, but I'm not sure. I've seen them look fairly different in other games. Definitely we've got the same sculpt here. Do like these creatures as well. Plenty of details in the wings. If you are going to be painting your minis, you'll definitely be satisfied with this. And here we've got what looks to be like some small evil tentacles of different colors. And it does match some of the colors we have for the players, so I'm not sure how these work. They could be tracking tokens. Haven't gone through the rule book yet. I'm sure we're going to find out. And lastly, we've got the generic minis. We've got the red cultists here. And then looks to be pretty much your standard monsters they're going to be getting with 2 different sculpts. So there you have it. That's everything that you get in the box for Cthulhu Death May Die. And we're going to stack this all back up. Very, very nice job packaging everything up, I must say, when it comes to CMON. Still a little disappointed in just the overall card packaging. You know what? I was trying to put this back. I'm sure there are viewers out there that were like, don't forget you've got your slip. And I entirely understand why that was there now. In order to make it just easier. Just looking at this, so the one thing that I can tell is going to be difficult is once everything is punched out, storing it in this box could be fairly difficult. But let's get everything placed back in. Our tracking board, all the tokens that we'll need to punch, our investigators, as well as the rule book. Get the top placed back on the box. There you have it. We've taken a look at what's in the box for Season 1, the core game of Cthulhu Death May Die. Keep right here as we're going to come back at you with Season 2 and then move on to the Kickstarter exclusive Unspeakable Box. Now let's take a look at what's in the box for the Season 2 expansion of Cthulhu Death May Die. Alright, let's slide this over. We've got some new areas. Should be easy to get this. Still a little tricky to get this undone. There's the seam. Really do absolutely despise this plastic wrap over just the board tokens, and looks like everything is already coming apart. So instead of trying to fit this back in, we'll punch the new locations. So as you can see, new locations, they're labeled at the bottom, similar to the labeling that we've seen in Zombicide. We've got these ones as well, and as there's only a few, just punch them out. I do like this evil looking church though. It does look to be like the Church of Cthulhu. It's a pretty cool token. I'll leave that one separate. Oh, I get to see that outdoor bazaar. Definitely like the locations, has a nice feel to it, and this is definitely going to be a little challenging. We don't even have a solid seam to sort of tear at. So I do have my trusty tools, but not quite sure what the best way to get it's going to be. Got to try to get, looks like the only sort of seam I've got really is right here, so try to get this open. I absolutely don't want to use a box cutter. As you can see, there's not really any good spot either to use scissors or anything like that as well. The box cutter could very easily tear through, damage some of the investigator cards. I really think CMON's got to get better with this type of packaging. Just like putting this all in a plastic bag might be a little bit more manual labor, or even then just giving us a nice seam that we can tear out. I can try ripping it down. I can see the seam right here. Maybe if I pull it down. No, it's really not all that great. Apologize for those of you that find this uninteresting. I find this uninteresting as well. But we like to do our unboxings live, not having pre-opened anything up here. And as you can see, this packaging is just absolutely atrocious. I'm just going to try something else here, and then maybe with the tweezers I'll be able to get it. It's starting to come now, but still not very easily. I think I finally got, there we go. As I wasted a minute of this just trying to safely unpackage the new characters. But it did get done. We got through it all. So just like on the other set, we've got Adela Vidal, we've got their name, a little bit of their history. Ariel Venturi, Margaret Richter. Ooh, she looks like she looks fairly badass. Helia Hovat, the machinist mate Tony Boyle, Sam Wood, Alex Parker, Sergeant Mario Brigeri, Maria Diaz, and Father Luke. I do like how we get where they're from. Gives you sort of an idea as to what they might have experienced with the Ancient Ones. So we do have, once again, their nice player boards with all their different abilities. Some of them do seem similar to what we had from the previous investigators. So it looks like we're just getting some new flavor, and definitely, well, when you're looking at Adela, I don't think we have a character like her yet in the game. So very cool. Now we've got minis, which we'll take a look at. I do like the fact that I'm just showcasing that there's some space under here, as some of the expansions may be able to fit in this box. For those of you that follow the channel, you can guess we are getting a little tight on storage space. So the more space I have to store things in nice boxes, the more that I personally like it. And you'll notice once you get the lid off, you do have a space here to place all of your investigators. So we'll just do that right now. It is a tight fit, but it also gives you a spot for, your tiles as well. Just so we don't have this empty, I won't move everyone. So let's just take a quick look over there. Like we've got Adela. I'm not going to remember all of their names, but as you can see, the minis, good detail on all of them. Once again, not as detailed, I feel, as their Zombicide miniatures. But I don't think that it's needed because it just sort of more fits with that type of aesthetic, especially with the old art style that you would see on the pulp magazines and basically where all the Cthulhu stories will have been published. But very good, solid plastic, like not worried about that really bending. It is always helpful to have a nice vacuum form, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, especially not in this box. This looks to be a little easier to maybe turn into some storage. Got these ugly monsters, 4 of them right there. Now we'll lift this out, put this off to the side, take a look at some of the more terrifying Cthulhu monsters, and definitely don't know what this one is. We don't have any cards and stuff, as you can see, so I'm guessing that all the information is going to be in the Seasons boxes, which we won't fully go through. Don't want to really provide any spoilers. Definitely is some imagery on here that is, definitely not PG-13 with some of these characters. We've got another one of the worms, well, similar looking worm. I must say, all of these monsters are pretty hideous and terrifying. You can definitely see just sort of the experience that CMON has gained doing Zombicide, especially Invader and other ones in these types of miniatures. Definitely gives you the sort of otherworldly horror that I don't quite think you see in some of the other games, at least like the Arkham horror games from Fantasy Flight. They definitely do look creepy, but it could be mainly because the ones I've played are all tiles. So while you do get that in the art, there's something terrifying like this guy having a hole in him that you don't really get in token form. And then we've got these cool flying gargoyle creatures. And once again, the monsters, you can see, all of them have a lot of detail, a lot more than the investigators. So if you're a painter, I'm sure you will absolutely enjoy painting up these creatures. Now let's take a quick look at what we can expect in Season 2. I don't want to give too many spoilers, as this is a very story-driven game, but we'll take a quick peek just so that everyone has an idea as to what to expect. So we do get the new monster card, so we can see the Tuck Tuck, and that's the Elder Thing. We've got Strange Bedfellows, so our objective. Some new tokens. Here, it's going to be kind of tricky to keep them in the box, but the nice thing is, and I didn't realize this earlier, the box does explain everything that is in there. So maybe even if you're looking for some storage opportunities, you know, you can just keep the back of the box and keep all of that information and make some room to store stuff. But I think the tokens should be fairly easy to slide back in, especially if you're going to use the box as storage. Now let's see if our trick worked with regards to, yep, pulling at it and tearing at the seams for some of these seems to work a lot better. So here we've got just our old discovery deck. Don't want to ruin too many stuff, so conditions, companions, all sorts of different things that are going to be occurring as you go through this storyline. And then this one seems a little tighter. Yeah, not as easy to get open, but we're able to pull and tear at the seam here. Still got a chance of maybe damaging the card, so let's just use the tweezers, so I'm not using my nail, not scratching anything. Alright, so then we can see the Tokto, the Elder Thing, Restless Friends, Easily Influenced, Summoning, Price on Your Head, Pay Up. We've got some nasty Mythos cards to go with it. Now we'll put everything back in the box, and I'll place it back in its spot. We'll just take a look at the names of the different episodes so that you, our viewers, will have an idea as to what you can expect in Season 2. And also, just in these boxes, it does look like you could sleeve all the cards and store them in the boxes. And that is a nice thing. Just keep that in mind if you're looking at sleeving the game. Now we've got Episode 2, The Nameless Woods. Episode 3 is Sanctifier Nomen. And then we'll start with the back here, but kind of organized. Well, it looks good this way, not great for unboxing. Episode 4, Shootout at the HP Corral. Episode 5, Monsters in Sin City. That's kind of neat. I love the crazy monster in Las Vegas. And last, Endgame Season 2, Episode 6. So this is the end of the game, unless you've got, like we do, the big Ryla Rising expansion. Don't worry. You'll see a picture, well, not a picture. The man himself will be joining me on camera for the outro. That if you just want to jump ahead, you aren't interested in the upcoming Unspeakable Box, since that is a Kickstarter exclusive, don't forget that down below in our video description, we do have timestamps, so you can feel free to go ahead and jump. Oh, that's probably not going back in the right spot. Maybe it goes on this way. Yes, it does. You can jump ahead using the timestamps and take a look at the giant Cthulhu, who is also Kickstarter exclusive, but he's just more interesting to look at than stuff that is going to be more hard for you to find. So there you have it. We have now unboxed Season 2 of Cthulhu Death May Die. Now keep it right here as we're coming back at you with the Unspeakable Box. Now we're going to take a look at what's in Cthulhu Death May Die, the Unspeakable Box. But before we do that, I want to take a quick look at another promo that we have, which is the Scarlet promo and the Kickstarter exclusive Frost dice. Now I picked up a second set of dice since I typically always play with Julie, and just made sense for us to have a second set. And just pop that out. Not going to keep the packaging. I will find a way to throw this in the main box. So as you can see, you have all the same dice that you needed, just with a little bit of frosting on them. Adds a little bit of variety, and it's always useful to have two sets of dice, I find, especially depending on the amount of players. Now, we'll take a look at Scarlet. So we do get the Scarlet miniature, that typical Victorian style, well, not really Victorian, but the 1940s style highborn, or just the rich lady, the debutante, or the socialite. We do get the details on Scarlet Hayes being from Baltimore, Maryland. Just some details about her. And her investigator card. So you can see she likes to play the odds, swiftness, and brawling. Wouldn't expect her to brawl, but fairly cool. I may repackage her back into this box afterwards, but I just wanted to take a look at that. Now let's see what we have in the Unspeakable box. And we do definitely have some room here. Not quite sure what these are, but it looks to be player boards that we can use as well. Now we've got a seam up here. Let's see if it's, this is a little looser than the other packaging. We have a larger seam on the corner here. This is not going to be too bad to get opened up, so. So far I haven't had to use the box cutter, which has been a good thing. It's a very easy way to damage some components. Thought I got this. I think I did nick one of the investigator cards here. At least that is an easy fix. With a little bit of work, we get this stuff open. It'd be great even if we just had, you know, like one of those inlaid strips to make unwrapping them easier, especially with the type of components that these are. Yeah, I did nick the investigator board a little bit, but not too badly. Nothing that's going to be noticeable or damage it long term. So we do have the new investigators. So we get Julia, Al, and these are all the ones that you'll notice that are based a little bit more on famous characters. She's got the umbrella. That's sort of the, I believe, Mary Poppins there. We got Al for Al Capone. Richard, and I'm drawing a blank as to, well, almost looks like James Bond, but not quite. Not sure if I'm getting that one right. Olivia, getting that whole Amelia Earhart feel. Maki, Tina, Fleur, Ernest, Demon Hunter, that's cool. Bert for Albert Einstein. Maxim, Roxy, very cool looking character. Margie, Meryl, Pops, the Voodoo Doctor, which is very cool. Walter, Vincent, Gonk, Josephine. As you can see, you're getting a lot of more content when it comes to adding in these investigators. Now here we've got this to be just like plastic overlay almost, just to put over your board. Nice place for you to keep all your tokens, keep them from moving around. So this is just a cool little extra add-on from CMON that you're getting, and of course I put it on backwards. You get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I'll check again. I think some of them are stuck together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like I got 9 of them here. And the last one, I believe, is not the same, because you'll see. So the last ones here are actually, looks like they're not just for the characters, they're for some of the other aspects of the board. So there's different ones. You're getting really looks like these 2 are stuck together. So 2, 3, 4, 5 of these here, and then you've got, looks to be about 4 of the other ones. 1, 2, looks to be like a 1, 2, 3, no, 5 of the other components. So we've got these nice plastic covers just to make things a little easier. You do get a little plastic slip for them. I do recommend potentially keeping it, as it just makes manipulating them and storing them a little easier. Now I'm going to move this off camera because I don't want it picking up the glares you can see from the lights. take a look at the minis before anything else. And you got quite a few. This is really, let me just lift this off to get the tape. I have the tape underneath on this one. Yeah. Not sure why well, looks like the box cutter is going to come in handy this time. And of course, I'm making a big mess for myself, so that's all right. We'll start with the bottom tray first as I reorganize all of these minis. It was just kind of odd that if you take a look here, this one's fine. The tape on this side, for whatever reason, they had it go all the way underneath. I'll just rip it off. Drives me nuts. I hate having tape on my stuff. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at the different minis. Still not that much detail, but do seeing a little bit more on this guy compared to the others. Very cool. I do enjoy the look of all the different minis that we're getting so far in the game. Also, vacuum form works nice at protecting them. Really like this one with the gun. Fortunately, I'm not the best painter here, so not sure if I would ever be able to get it to come out well. Lots of detail on Olivia as well. I'm not even going to bother trying to remember all of their names. You saw the sheer amount of characters that we went through. We've got Julia. Just remember her because she was the first mini. And then we've got Al. Definitely looks like Al Capone and looks like he'd be just, like a lot of fun to play. Now let's put the top layer back on. Top layer actually a little harder to get open, so neglected the tape, and I've got minis that like to run away, but that's okay. We've got Bert, Albert Einstein with a gun. Never thought I would see a mini like that. We've got Richard, cool as well. I like how this umbrella looks like a sword. Never thought I'd ever see an old lady running around with a sword. Definitely does suit Cthulhu though. Very cool. I believe that's Josephine. This looks like he's Walter right here. Maybe getting that wrong. Maybe this was Walter. Can't remember. Way too many characters almost in the game. More than I think I could ever play. But it's really fun to have the whole game. And lastly, the Witch Doctor. Very cool. He's got a lot of detail on him, unlike some of the other characters. So there you have it. We've taken a look at the minis. And we've got some of these Lost Episode box. So we'll start with Happy Birthday, Lost Episode Chapter 3. We're just going to take a look at what's in the content. So episode card, monster cards. Doesn't look like there's a specific monster in the box. Discovery and Mythos cards. I don't want to really spoil anything. But for these bigger boxes, we'll take a quick peek because I do believe they will contain some minis as well. We're not going to... Oh, well, not everything is sealed up, actually, which is kind of nice. But as you can see, some new tokens, some new cards. So we're just going to use some of these cultists and things that we have in the base game. I'll place that down here quickly. We do once again get some new Mythos cards. You can see with the Cult Master, Lord Nameless, stuff that's related to the new tokens, Lord Faceless, just general stuff that we had in the original game. Looks like we do have a little spot for tokens and stuff, but I don't think everything would really fit. This packaging is super loose. This is going to be very easy to get opened up. So we'll take a quick peek at these Discovery cards. So a whole slew of different discovery cards and things that we're going to get into when we go on this mission. No, take on this episode. I do have a little spot for some of the tokens. I am going to do my best to figure out how to store all of this with keeping the boxes. And all the new enemies that you need are right here. We can see the new miniatures. This one looks to be Lord Nameless. We've got the Cult Master. Once again, not the most detailed minis, but well crafted. Lots of detail areas when they need them. And then we've got Lord Faceless. Now, just because I want to put everything back and I don't want to deal with stuff, quickly punch everything out. Almost all fits. Easily in here. I want to get this token at the bottom. Kind of looks like this is almost like a Rosemary's Baby style expansion potentially. Last of the tape off. Place that back in there. Place the cards, and we've got the setup for the mission. And we can slide it now back into the box. Here you can see what was in Lost Episode 1. So Lost Episode 2, we will take a quick peek. I'm not going to go through everything. Just want to showcase really the minis. One of the nice things about getting the expansion, well, getting the Kickstarter, is a lot of this extra stuff. And didn't realize I left some of that packaging on camera. There's a lot of it, so apologies. I can sit right here. So we do get 2 Yithians. We finally get the Migo. I thought we had the Migos before, but no, we get the Migos. Lots of fantastic detail on the monster miniature, especially these Migos. It's a little disappointing that the Migos were one of those, I feel, well recognizable Cthulhu monsters. These Yithians are deep in there, a little tricky to get out, but very cool. Lots of detail on them as well. Well, a little less, but you can see just a lot of nice texturing. So if you like to paint minis, you'll really enjoy it, I think. And then we do have, once again, just the Mythos deck, our discovery cards, and just to showcase what they are, we do get some new tokens. We have alien ships. Okay, pretty interesting. And once again, under here, we do have a few spaces to keep the tokens. I'm not quite sure how all this is going to fit easily. We'll take a look as we are doing an unboxing, but I do like seeing what the thought process is, how all this stuff is supposed to fit and get sorted. Well, if the log works, start with the alien token. I almost wonder if this is set up here up in the north Canada with all of the moose that you see. And everything will fit nicely back in the box. I do have to give CMON credit for the idea of the way they're setting all this stuff up. It does get me excited for Trudvang Legends. We had been looking at Bloodborne, but it didn't happen. So we've got the Migo and the Yithians. The Yithians got to be the aliens. Maybe the Migo are from Cthulhu. And then, of course, the episode card. So we'll get that back into the box. And seal it back up. We took a quick look at Happy Birthday, Episode 3. And you can see why we had that there. Now let's take a look at these big enemies that we get. So these are, we're not going to go through all of it. I'll just take a quick look more at the minis than anything else. So we do get different stages for Yog-Sothoth. As we saw, we've got some tokens. Not really that much space for the tokens here, but just get an idea how they can fit. maybe that's actually underneath, so we'll put these aside. Maybe this will. Oh, this should open easily. So let's take a look, see what we're getting with this. Wasn't going to, but we've gone this far into unboxing all this content. Might as well go a little bit further, especially as I don't feel like we're really looking at any spoilers with these guys. So we got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, the final stage. Cultist and Wilbur Wheatley. So we do have a new enemy type that we'll be facing when we fight Yog-Sothoth. And once again, more tape than I know how to deal with, but so far, so good. So not so bad. We can fit all the tokens in there. Let's take out Yog-Sothoth. The miniature does feel a little fragile when you're holding it. There's all these little extremities, but they're all solid. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would be a little loath to not have this in the vacuum packaging and in its box. Very cool. Terrifying. Here we've got Wilbur Wheatley. So he's definitely very creepy and not a family-friendly miniature. And then place this back. We've got Yog-Sothoth there. See if these will tear quickly or not. No, this will be a little more complicated. So, you know what? Already started. I have a habit of finishing what I start. So let's see if there's a way just to... Yeah, that's very, very difficult. But corner's coming now. Once again, as you can see, my favorite tool, tweezers. Others may have some better solutions. Please let me know down below in the description. So you can see a lot of the mythos related to Wilbur Wheatley, cultists, the Dunwich Horror, oof, terrifying Yog-Sothoth. Now let's get it all back in the box. There is some spots like in some of these boxes, so if like myself, you're going to feel the need to probably try to repackage some of the stuff. And you'll see why in just a moment. As we move on to the last two things we're going to take a look at before the outro. It'll make sense. And with regards to this one, we're not going to go through everything. I'll turn it the other way. So for Dagon, oh, was not expecting that. So we have these colored people tokens. Looks like they are related to the different player characters, as we can play a total of 5 players. So you'll probably use the ones in-game related to just whatever colored base you pick. Put that down there for the moment. I've got packaging, plastic flying all over the place. We've got Dagon, lots of detail on the mini. These front tentacles feel a little fragile. Very cool looking. Really like the details on the miniature. We then have some more of these guys. So we've got Servant of the Deep and Dagon. I'll just use the box to identify them. And they all look a little different actually, which is good. So it'll give you an easy chance to just tell them apart. I believe there are going to be some special minions that show up if you happen to be fighting Dagon. We've got storage spot for all of the tokens. Oh, one of those tokens ran away. we've got Dagon's cards, the Mythos cards. And we'll get that all back in the box. Looks like I ended up moving that a little off camera. My apologies, but everything important was still visible. As you can see, we definitely have the room to add Scarlet to this set, which is what I'm going to do. Not sure where I'm going to put her mini, or I'm going to sort it. You know what? I got a moose that escaped. Not the biggest issue, but we'll leave her and the moose sitting out. Well, there's almost ingenious. For the moment, I'll slide her in there. We'll leave the moose token out. Dice, you know what? They can actually sort of fit in there too. Everything I do to figure out how to store a game. Probably going to have to get a plastic bag for that though. But does the job for now. Got the lid back on. And there you have it. We have unboxed. Yeah, it's a little tricky to get that on for some reason. The box was sticking. We've unboxed the Unspeakable Box. We're going to move on to the last two aspects that come with this game. We've got the Black Goat, and we'll take a quick look at what's in the box for Ryla Rising. Then I'll be back with a quick outro. We take a look at the last two components for the all-in pledge for Cthulhu Death May Die, the Black Goat of the Woods, and the Ryla Rising epic episode. Now, this box is a little difficult to get open. So you know what? Now let's do it. Let's see what's in here. Ended up upside down. We've got Mythos cards, the Ryla Rising Discovery deck, and we'll take a quick peek, as I'm sure there are many out there that are curious as to what's so epic about this episode. Oh, sorry, I had it. Oh, yes, they're just, one side is up, one side is down, conditioned and spells, Hand of God, right arm incantation. So you're doing a lot of spell casting, rituals, things that you're going to have to use to stop Cthulhu. We've got the episode monsters. So looks like we have a specific set of monsters for the episode, and probably has some different stats than their ones in the base game. So we do have the Thistonian, Fire Vampire, Byaki, the Hunting Horror, Shogoth, Ghoul, and the Deep One. So these are all stuff that are in the base game. We just get new cards for them. It could just be that'll make things a little easier. Let's move the cards out. Place them on, put them next to the goat for right now. Let's see if we can get this Mythos packaging open easily. Yeah. We're able to. So we right arm swipe, left arm swipe, star spawns showing up, summonings, Ryla Rises, the Call of Cthulhu, bending space and time. Wow. Lots of crazy things that's going to happen. And I've let's see, it's a little tricky to get out. Probably the stuff's going to end up getting damaged long term. We do get the ritual. We get the final stage form of Cthulhu. We get the double monster card of Cultist and the Star Spawn. I'm just going to put that out. I don't know if I'm going to keep this stuff in the bag, to be honest with you again. I'll put it back for now, but it's very tight. And, well, there's a reason why we have tokens that in this cardboard don't fit well in the plastic bag. So we have all of these specific tokens: North Vortex, Moon Vortex, stuff that we're going to have to use to defeat Cthulhu and that world between worlds sort of place that we're going. I'm just going to place all this stuff punched out into the bag. Try not to do this when I'm unboxing, but with just the way the components for Death May Die have been showing up, just seems a lot easier to do this now. Otherwise, putting it back in the box, I could have put it in separately, but still not sure why it was set up the way it was. Now get rid of this. Everything's in a bag. Now this is a little disappointing that it's just sort of a sheet. It'd be difficult to maintain in good condition, but let's see if I solved my problem. This went in this way. Not that I think it makes too much of a difference, but it's definitely a little easier to fit it in and out of the bag. Honestly, don't know if I'm going to keep this bag. I might use it for other stuff, but for the moment, it works. I'm definitely not going to lock it up just the way everything kind of fits in the box. For tokens, you'll want to try to spread it out a little bit. And just place all the cards. Well, one nice thing about the bag is you can slip all those cards in the bag. And there you have it. That's what's in the box for Riley Rising, the Kickstarter exclusive mission for the Cthulhu statue. Now, this is the Black Goat. And I do believe that this expansion is currently available retail. So we're not getting any new tokens here. It's really primarily monsters, and it is all once again taped together. So we're not going to take too much of a look at this. See if this just opens easily. Oh, not that easily. Oh, there we go. Corner got a little dinged, but we've got the different stages like everything else for the Black Goat. The Dark Young and the Cultists are the new main villains. Don't really have as nice of a spot to place the cards as we did on some of the other expansions. Not an easy open on these Mythos. Oh, there we go. Got the Mythos cards. Probably going to want to get a plastic bag or something to store all of this. So we've got Dark Immolation, Rituals, Lord of the Woods, from the Book of Ebion. Very scary names. Let's put that over there and take a look. So we've got the Black Goat of the Woods. Once again, this is definitely not a very family-friendly style game in terms of the minis. We'll double check the name. So all of these are just different Dark Young, and we'll double check down there to see if there is a different aesthetic. And there is just a slight different aesthetic. It looks like there is 3 different sculpts, but they're all basically the same miniature. Yeah, they're just. It looks like there are some minor differences. Can't quite tell, but it's a little telling though that they're packaged up 2 by 2, and he doesn't want to quite fit where he was. Was he the other way? No. In any case, fits well enough. We'll put the Black Goat back in the box. I'm going to try to figure out a way to store this where it's not all separate. I must say though, CMON is pretty bad when it comes to making it easy to store a lot of the extras. And there you have it. We've taken a look at the last two parts of the Solid Cthulhu Death May Die pledge. Now keep right here, as I'll be back with a quick outro. As promised, here he is, Cthulhu. Now this is the last part of the unboxing, and I'm going to move right into the outro. So I want to showcase the giant figure. Now he did have to be assembled, the wings were not attached, and this is what you need to play Riley Rising. Now if you've just skipped ahead to see the giant statue, down below in the video description there are timestamps. You can use that to skip back to see what is in the box for Riley Rising. Well, we've got Cthulhu here. We've gone through all the content that is available in the all-in Kickstarter pledge for Cthulhu Death May Die. It's time for us to take it out. So, with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that YouTube and Cthulhu will make sure that you know when our next video is going to be coming out. Also, down below in the video description, past those timestamps, you will find links to all of our social media feeds. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we got all of them. If you want to see us fighting against Cthulhu, not sure when we're going to do our review of the Riley Rising episode, but that will be where you can see pictures of the gameplay from just regular old Death May Die as well. Also, popping up in front of me is going to be links to some of our previous videos. Now, eventually you'll see a link over here to the review of Cthulhu Death May Die, and the one that's popping up in front of this ancient one, this elder one himself, will be our latest video. And with that being said, keep playing games and beware the mighty Cthulhu.